The other day, I looked at my bank account on my phone, and what I saw shocked me. Now, look, I'm a professional investor with 18 years of experience. I'm used to financial surprises, but this was different. Just a few days ago, I had 5,000 euros in my account. Now, the number staring at me was 3.50 euros. I called out to my wife. I think I've been hacked. I scrolled through the transactions looking for anything suspicious, like maybe 100 Apple gift card purchases. But all I found was a rent payment, takeout meals, some new clothes I bought, a vacation I paid for, nothing that I didn't recognize. I just spent 5,000 euros in just a few days without even noticing. And I kind of had to laugh because I teach people how to save and invest, but I still find it so easy to spend everything that I make. The embarrassing truth is, I've had a few bad months like this over the 18 years of my working career. But I've also managed to save hundreds of thousands of euros and build quite a lot of wealth for my family. And the reason I've been able to do this is because every time that I slip up, I go back and review my top 5 steps for controlling my spending. The first step has to do with your immune system. According to Statista, companies globally spend around $1.5 trillion per year on marketing. They hire the best psychologists to get you to buy their products and services and spend every euro, pound, or franc that you earn. Remember how when you were a kid, you saw some colorful ad for a new toy and you immediately got excited and rushed to your parents? We've got to buy this. Well, as you got older, you saw more ads. Maybe you had some bad experiences with toys or games that were not quite as good as advertised, and you started to develop some immunity against these advertising techniques. But the challenge is you're playing an unfair game. You don't have the time to keep on top of all the latest marketing techniques. At the same time, businesses work thousands of hours a year finding new ways to manipulate you. So when it comes to your money, you're running an outdated antivirus. Your immunity is simply not good enough. So what's the solution? Well, it's not becoming a marketing expert. That's not practical for most people. You can actually strengthen your immunity by setting up a few simple defenses, which don't depend on recognizing specific advertising techniques. Because you're going to set up these defenses before the temptation to spend arises, these are called proactive defenses. And here are just 3 examples. First, always make a shopping list before you go to the mall, before you go shopping, before you open up Amazon.com. Second, remove your card details from online shopping sites or food delivery apps or anywhere else that is tempting for you, so that every time that you want to spend, there's a bit of friction that holds you back. And third, if you're getting on some kind of sales call, put your wallet and your phone far away and commit that you're not going to make a final decision until 24 hours after the call. As a salesperson myself, I'm going to hate that, but your budget is going to thank you. Naturally, you can't prepare for every temptation ahead of time, like that amazing discount you see in the shop window walking down the street, or the compelling ad which pops up while you're watching YouTube. To protect against these unexpected temptations, you need what I call reactive defenses. Okay, this is something you do every time that you are tempted to spend money. And here's my favorite: convert money into time. So for most of us, making money costs us something that we'll never get back. It costs us our time. Take your net income after taxes. Let's say it's 2,000 euros per month, divided by the number of hours that you work. For example, 170 hours. That would make your hourly rate 12 euros per hour. Now, every time that you want to spend money, do a quick conversion. How much life does this actually cost you? A 50 euro steak? That's 4 extra hours at work. A 500 euro TV? That's 42 hours, a full week spent at the office. Is that a good trade? You can decide. But once you get into this habit of converting prices into time, I think you're going to find it much easier to resist. Now, the next step is a game changer. It's a way to completely reorder your money priorities. But before I share it, just a quick note. If you live here in Europe and you feel stuck financially, like you're struggling to increase your income or you're spending everything that you earn, I've actually put together a new workshop based on my 18 years of experience in finance. It's called The Roadmap to Wealth. So if that sounds interesting, check out the first link in the description. Okay, well, here's the third step. Stop making decisions. Let me illustrate this with a non-financial example. Before I understood this concept, I used to struggle with going to the gym. Every morning, I would wake up in bed and try to decide, should I go or should I maybe sleep in? Then somebody taught me a trick. Pack your gym clothes the night before. Set a recurring alarm for the morning and put your phone far away from the bed. In the morning, the alarm forces you out of bed, and by the time you reach your phone, you have woken up and your bag is right there. There is no more decision to make. You just grab your stuff and go. Well, you can do a similar thing with saving money. If every day you need to make a new decision whether to save money or not, that's going to be really tough. So to eliminate that decision, set up an automatic transfer at the start of the month, right after you get your salary. Send 1 or 2 or 300 euros, whatever you can afford, directly to your savings account, or ideally your brokerage account. Then live the rest of the month as if the remaining money is your entire salary. The first time you do this, you might find it scary. You might think, what if there's not enough money left for all your needs? Well, that's where the fourth step comes in. This is the easiest way to make sure you can always pay all your bills and never run out of cash before the end of the month. Basically, you've got to lie to yourself about how much money you have. Seriously, hear me out. In my experience, one of the biggest reasons for overspending is what I call the I'm rich illusion. At the start of the month, your salary lands in your account. And for the next few days, every time you look at your bank account, you see a huge number, thousands of euros, much more than you usually see. And even though rationally you know this is simply because it's the start of the month, emotionally you feel rich, so you start spending. How do you solve this? I would use a variation of the good old envelope method. Back in the day, personal finance coaches told you, when you get your salary, take several envelopes. Put part of the salary in one envelope for rent and utilities, another envelope for food, another for transport, and of course another for clothes and maybe one more for non-essential spending. Today, you can actually do the same thing electronically as long as your bank doesn't charge a lot of money for every separate account. Some online banks have these free quasi-accounts like saving spaces that you can use. As soon as your salary comes in, split it among different accounts. And suddenly, that big 2 or 3 or 4,000 euros that you get gets split into 5 to 7 pieces. And each of those pieces looks small. So you're never going to have the illusion that I'm rich, I can spend a lot. It will be much easier to resist. So that's step number 4. Split your paycheck into pieces. And then we've got step number 5, which is perhaps the most powerful money habit that I have. In fact, this habit is responsible for a big improvement in not just my finances, but also my health and relationships. Having coached hundreds of professionals over the years, the single biggest predictor of failure that I've seen is lack of consistency. Maybe you're well-intentioned. You want to save money and invest and build wealth. Maybe you got super excited about it and you opened a brokerage account and made your first few investments. But then a few weeks later, life happened, you got distracted and you stopped doing it. If this sort of thing happens to you a lot, don't feel bad about it. It's completely normal. But this is why most people never achieve their financial goals. Today, the best weapon that I have to keep myself consistent comes from my mentor, Steve Barnes. He's this amazing guy, a top martial artist, a science fiction writer. He's physically active and in great shape at the age of 73. And Steve taught me the concept of a morning ritual. Now, morning rituals get a bad reputation among some people. They critique influencers for taking an ice bath and meditating and doing all these things that take up a ton of time or aren't practical for most people. But actually, the idea behind a morning ritual is simple and powerful. If you want to stay on track with your life goals, if you want to avoid distraction, if you want to avoid losing focus, you simply need to recalibrate your mind every morning. You've got to remind yourself about your goals. I take a walk every morning and talk through my goals and plans for the day. And when it comes to saving, this is what I tell myself. Today, I will not overspend. I don't know about tomorrow. I don't know about next week, but today I will not overspend. And this simple reminder keeps me on track day after day. So that's the 5th step. Remind yourself about your money goals every morning. In my experience, financial freedom is mostly about good money habits like this. I myself went from 900 euros in the bank at the age of 30 to financial freedom less than 10 years later. And based on this experience, I've put together a new workshop called The Roadmap to Wealth. This will take you step by step through my best techniques for increasing your income and keeping your spending under control. To check it out, just follow the first link in the description.